Jeff, are you buying what he's selling on the quarterback situation that he believes, right? And let me make sure I got this right. And because he just said it, you just heard it. We're kind of all talking about it. That Joe Flacco is probably going to get the nod to start this thing, but they are going to give Kenny Pickett every chance to win it. And the rookies will be the rookies. Fair? We're on the same page?
I disagree with Scott on one aspect of it.
Okay.
He thinks it's going to be Flacco because Pickett will stumble. I think it's going to be Pickett because he won't stumble. But I agree with the assessment completely in this regard. Pickett has some upside, and there's a chance that this guy actually becomes your starting quarterback and gives you a quarterback who you can have for 3 to 5 years. Next year, there are a lot of factors going into the idea of getting a quarterback next year. Okay, you have 2 draft choices. That's really good. To get the guy you want, you're going to have to really stink this year, I would think, because there's no guarantee. Remember, if somebody else gets the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick, it's probably because they don't have a quarterback either, or one that they like, and they'll want to move on and get that guy. So just because you have an extra number 1 doesn't mean that somebody's going to take your trade offer to get the guy you want. And so I would rather find a guy this year who I can play quarterback, and he can be my starting quarterback, and he can be here for a little while. And I keep going back to what Mike Martz told us last week, where he really likes Kenny Pickett and thinks that Pickett can be the guy. And so I'm really pulling for Pickett because I don't know Kenny. I don't know him personally. All I know is that he's had some moments, and if he can go in and win that job, I think it's the best case scenario for the organization. And that's why I would like to see him do it. I do think it's the best case scenario for the organization.
I think week one of these 4 guys is going to be traded by then. So I'm still going to stick to my guns on that.
Yes, you do.
I think if I'm Kevin Stefanski and I want to make sure that I have a job next year, I'm probably leaning towards Joe Flacco. And I'll tell you why. Cincinnati, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, and Pittsburgh on a short week coming back from London. What quarterback would I trust the most to try to get me at least 2 wins in that grouping so that the whole season doesn't go sideways earlier on? I don't care if management said, hey, we took a swing and a miss on a quarterback who's not even going to be on the active roster. What I'm telling you is if they start off 0 for Cincinnati, 0 for Baltimore, 0 for Green Bay, 0 for Detroit, 0 for Minnesota, 0 for Pittsburgh, 0 for 6, Kevin Stefanski could be in gigantic trouble before October 19th. And if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm going to trust the guy that got me to the playoffs 2 years ago more than I'm trusting anybody else. I'm sorry. We could sit here and talk about it till we're blue in the face. Kevin's got to win. And if I'm Kevin, I'm going with the guy I trust. It might actually go against what the front office is saying. Oh, don't worry about it. If we're 0-6, you know what? We're going to start one of these young guys because we got to see what we got. It's the NFL, baby. It's the NFL. And I just don't see Kevin. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But if I was Kevin, I'll put it that way. I want to trust a guy that knows how to win, a guy that's been to the playoffs before. I don't care what happened in Indianapolis last year. I don't want to sit here and talk about what happened over the last 10 years. I don't care. I don't care.
New York?
Nope, I don't. Don't care.
Because he's had limited success since he's left Baltimore.
You know what? But he had success last time he was here, and he was with me then, and we had synergy, we had a great trust. That's right. Me and Joe.
I didn't know that.
I'm just telling you, man. I was there from a distance. I was in the stadium while he was in the stadium. It was like the Wonder Twins, kinetic power, working together of one mind. If I'm Kevin, I'm going with the guy that's going to get me the most amount of wins. And I'm sorry, but I think Joe's probably that guy for confidence reasons out of the gate.
Here's the thing. I have a different level of confidence in Joe Flacco. Joe can sling it. When Joe's 50, he'll probably still have a great arm. I truly keep looking at what he's done since he was in Baltimore. And I'll give you the numbers. In games where he was the starting quarterback, the quarterback of record, In New York, 1-8. In Indy, 2-4. In
Rookie
Denver,
quarterback they're trying to get on the field in Indy.
Denver, 2-6. In Cleveland, very good, 4-1. He's not had a whole lot of success since he's left Baltimore. And just because he was good here a year ago, 2 years ago now, I'm not convinced that he's going to step in and be able to go 4-1 in 5 games or something, play at that kind of a pace. And if he's trying to do too much, his history tells us he throws the ball to the other team a lot.
Then you pull the ripcord quick.
Well, I just don't think he gives you the chance to win that most people do. I could be completely wrong on that.
Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what the fans think.
We got another 2.5 hours here today.
Well, that's
and
okay.
We're
You
doing
can
the show
keep
all
saying
week.
it. Yeah, well, you might be sitting here by yourself at the end of this. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what the fans think. What does Kevin Stefanski think?
I think
Who
they
does
think
Kevin.
Kevin's,
Not
I think,
they.
I think
Kevin.
I think Kenny Pickett is the guy. That's my own personal thought.
Kevin's got to play to win. And the guy he's had the most success with out of these 4,
well,
that he knows
he's
exactly.
only had one of them before. Of course, he's had the most success with them.
Well, that's all that matters. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about the Jets. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Indy.
Well,
I'm going to talk about a guy that I was told
from the conversation.
I'm going to talk about.
The guy's not been good since he left Baltimore.
A guy that I was
for
told
a 5-game stretch here.
Had more respect than any other quarterback in that locker room since 1999, and that the guys want to play for him and with him, and that he brings out something in these players that somebody else has.
That's the best captain the Titanic has ever had.
They weren't the Titanic when he was here, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, you righted the ship.
You want to sit here and dwell on, everyone gets bad opportunities. Everybody has bumps in the road. Everybody has, problems. But sometimes as well as I do, in the NFL, it's about combinations. And that combination is the head coach, the quarterback, the skill position players, and a defense that can give you an opportunity to win if you're on offense. And a lot of times you may have 4 of the 5. I don't even know how many I listed. You might have 3 out of the 5, and you're not going to win. What do you think they think in Cincinnati? I think they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If you ask me, offensively, they should win the Super Bowl. But who's saying that? No one. Everybody thinks Baltimore is going to come out of the North because no one trusts Cincinnati's defense. So we can sit here and go till we're blue in the face on why Cincinnati won't win, but we all know offensively and the quarterback they have gives them an opportunity every week. I don't care. If I had Joe Burrow as my quarterback, I would believe my team could win this week every week.
When Joe was here before, they had Amari Cooper, they had Elijah Moore.
Yep.
They're not here. They had Nick Chubb, but Nick didn't play a ton that year.
Yep.
Because he got hurt. They did have Kareem Hunt. Andy, if he can replicate what he did here before, more power to him. I think that would be outstanding. I still think Pickett is the hope because as Scott said, and I couldn't agree with him more, Joe's not the long-term solution here, just based on his age. And
it's the NFL. Is there really such thing as long-term? Win this year. Is there really long? I mean, Kansas City's proved it.
I'll give you that, but I'm looking for a long-term solution. If you look around the league at good teams, they have long-term solutions at the quarterback spot.
We have had a great long-term solution at not having good quarterbacks since '99,
which is why Which is why I'm hoping Kenny Pickett can come in and perform at a high level and win that job, and then perform at a high level in games and give the team a chance to win. Here's the thing. I think you've said, what is Kevin going to do? My guess is this. If he has to play Joe Flacco, he's thinking, oh my God, we're in trouble. And I don't mean that to be disparaging about Joe. It's this. Give us somebody who might be the quarterback of the future of this team. And if none of these 3 other guys are good enough to beat out Joe Flacco, then this is going to be a season where we sit back and wait to see who the quarterback's going to be next year. And I truly think that you're going to have a hard time winning games if somebody can't beat out Joe. And I mean, Joe can sling it. He can. And he'll win you a couple of games. But if somebody doesn't rise above his level, I think this team is destined to win 5 to 6 to 7 games. A different quarterback might give you a better opportunity to win. And whether that's Kenny Pickett, whether that's Dylan Gabriel, I don't think it's going to be Shedeur. I think Shedeur is going to sit, watch, and hopefully get really good in the years to come, but it might need a little more time. I just want somebody to come in and be good enough that you don't think, all right, well, I guess we got to start Joe. And I can't come off in any way other than bashing Joe Flacco when I say the things that I've said about this.
It does sound like you're bashing.
Well, I know it does. But I want the team to do better than a 40-year-old quarterback who's had very little success in the last 5 or 6 years. I want them to be better than that. So that's my hope.
I haven't seen NFL success out of any of the other quarterbacks either, so I'm not going to judge him against
Kenny
that.
Pickett
Two have never had the
in
opportunity
Pittsburgh with a crummy offense. I mean, their
you're saying
that
that coaching and player personnel on the field directly affected his outcome?
No, I'm saying he was.
You
better.
just said
I
he
said,
had a crummy
but he was
coach.
better. He was better than that with a crummy offensive coordinator. Dude's record is like 15-10, and the offensive coordinator was so good he got fired.
I think if I'm Kevin, I've got to figure out how to save my job, and I don't care what you say. Oh, it looks like he's safe. He's safe. There's just 3-win coaches don't stick around for 2 years in a row. It doesn't happen. And I like Kevin. Right. I like him a lot.
Yeah, which is where I think, and Kevin thinks, if you're Kevin Stefanski, are you banking on Joe Flacco to save your job? Good luck, man. Get the resume ready.
Are you banking on 2 rookies that have never taken a snap?
I'm banking on a guy who was a first-round pick who did okay in my division, playing for a team that's better than us.
Well, there's a guy who was in our division that's gone very far, and he's on the team too. If I'm Kevin, man, and I'm looking at that schedule haunts me every night.
Oh,
every night.
And Joe Flacco makes you feel better about it?
No, at least look, and if he sucks and he doesn't look good in the first game of the season, then I'm going to Kenny.
Which screams, oh my God, you're going to change after one game?
No, it screams, oh my God, I've got 4 quarterbacks sitting here. I don't think anyone is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't know how far we can get with any of these guys. And by the way, my general manager wants me to keep 4 quarterbacks. So if he wants me to keep 4 quarterbacks on this active roster, they probably all could play in some capacity. And by the way, don't we want to see what Shedeur Sanders looks like out on the field? Like, I don't have a problem with that. I want to see what he looks like out on the field. I'm not willing to start him, though, if my job's on the line. I don't know how long it would take to get him on the field. Same with Dylan Gabriel.
I was just looking at some Flacco stuff. I didn't know this. Highest interception percentage rate of his career came with what team?
With the Browns?
Yes.
Well, there weren't enough games.
Isn't that weird?
He didn't have enough games to be able to equal that out.
Yeah.
Does it count how many tosses he had from the couch?
Maybe. I mean, it was lower with other teams.
More opportunity? Is that a fair
assessment? It was lower
assessment?
Every year he was in Baltimore.
I'm
just throwing that out. I'm just a fact. That doesn't include the playoff games either.
All right.